Hello, Internet dwellers. You are listening to the Collective Gamescast, Episode 3. Pre-order this episode. I'm your host, Malgadar. With me again is Chris.
What's up, everybody?
And we got Matt with us again.
Hey.
And we have a new guest tonight, Drew.
Hey.
Okay. So before we got started tonight, I just real quick wanted to say we kind of talked about some things last week, but I just thought it was imperative to say we are not video game experts.
Oh, no.
We do not work in the video games field. We're just guys with an opinion. We're talking. We're having a good time. Probably doing the same things you do with your friends. And we're just doing it and putting it out there for all you to listen to. If you want to be part of the conversation, you're always free to join us. Email collectivegamescast@gmail.com, and you can be the next guest on the show. All right, so housekeeping's done there. We have a new guest with us tonight, so I think before we do anything else, Drew, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I've been gaming for a long time. I was, used to, work with games all the time. I worked at GameStop for almost 7 years. I no longer work for GameStop anymore. We've got a better opportunity, but games has always been a big part of my life. I play a little bit of everything, so I've always kept, my gaming genres very open, and, I enjoy everything.
Do you have a favorite genre?
If I had to choose just one, it'd probably be like RPGs. I mean, it's hard to choose between JRPGs and like open world RPGs. I do enjoy them both. I kind of like them as a change of pace kind of thing. I get playing a bunch of turn-based RPGs in a row. It's good to kind of give it a good mix of something that's more open world or action-y to give yourself a different taste.
Yeah, I would agree. Well, to give everybody a better idea of more who you are as a gamer, tell us about your core four, which are the four games that kind of say a lot about you as a gamer.
I would say these are not in a particular order. The first one would be the first Halo. I really enjoyed the first Halo. Like, the story really kind of drew me into it. It was actually the first main first-person shooter I got actually good at. I played Perfect Dark with friends and GoldenEye and got destroyed, but once I played Halo, it actually motivated me to get better at the first-person shooters. I did like Halo 2 a lot too, but Halo 1 is definitely my favorite. The second game is probably a lot of people's favorites, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
Good memories.
Yeah, it's a game you can play on I own it for every platform it's been released on, and I've played through many times, including the Master Quest.
That was nice, the remix.
Oh yeah, it definitely gave new challenges. It just made it even more enjoyable to play through again.
Let me ask you one thing before we leave Ocarina of Time. I just got one question to ask you.
Yeah.
The first time you stepped out the Hyrule field, did anything in particular go through your head at that moment?
Yeah, I was in awe. Like this, growing up, my family didn't really buy me the new systems for a long time. I got a 64 when Majora's Mask came out. I kind of got both games. So it was kind of one of the first, big systems and games I had, and I was just in awe. It looked, the music, it's always been a favorite thing. If anyone's seen Symphony of the Goddess, it's amazing. Really kind of, highlights the great music moments, but then, I don't know, just everything about that game, just the feel when you're running and then it turns into night and then you have to kind of, stave off until, I was not expecting that at all.
Yeah, I remember thinking that field was just massive.
Yeah.
And looking back, it's really not that big, but at the time, I think that was really the precursor to like the 3D open world games we were going to start getting. It just the technology wasn't quite there yet.
Yeah, and it's like I can't imagine the new Zelda and how that's even going to be. It's I'm excited. I'm excited. Um,
Yeah, I am somewhat concerned, somewhat excited. I'm kind of split on that game. I don't know what they've been doing over there lately, so we'll
yeah,
see if Nintendo's got their stuff together.
yeah. I mean, I definitely see that because it's such a big franchise and they're doing such a kind of, I mean, like a newer concept to it. And the fact that they pushed it back, which I'm okay with, that they'll probably make it even better or fix things that needed to be fixed. So, but yeah, the only way we're gonna know is when it comes out because they don't like to give out very much videos or sneak peeks or anything like that.
Yeah.
Nintendo doesn't do that often, do they?
Well,
No.
it's very controlled.
Yeah.
Like they showed some footage of the open world, like you can ride from like A to B, you know, but it seemed very scripted. Like they had run through it enough times that they kind of knew everything that was going to happen along the way. Like it didn't just feel like, hey, we're in the game, it's open world, we'll just go that way and see what happens, you know.
Hmm.
Like which would have been, I think, more what people would have wanted to see at this point. With
Yep.
saying Zelda's going to be open world, like, well, then show us the open world part.
Yeah.
We know you can do a great set piece, like you've done it before.
At least just like a tease.
Pretty much.
We'll see. It's still a ways off, so maybe they'll have something bigger for us down the line.
Yeah, one of my favorite things is like how it seemed like they when they were like at the press conference, they're like open world and like just like this new concept that had never been heard of before, like the way they were describing it. Like there's a lot of open world games, but it just made me chuckle. Like
There's open world Zelda games.
yeah,
Like the first one is open world.
there's like this world of gaming that you've never heard of before. It's called open world, and it's coming to Zelda, and you're like, what? Yeah,
Yeah.
exciting stuff.
Okay, well, I derailed your core 4 quite a lot. So you got 2 good ones so far. What else you got?
I have Resident Evil 4, and my two friends, they definitely know how much I love that game. I own it on every single physical and digital release, and I've done 100% of everything on all the releases. It's such a good game.
It is.
If even if you're not a big fan of like the old school Resident Evil games, or even if you are, it's definitely worth a playthrough. Or I thought it was much more fun too when you were like playing with buddies and you'd switch off and things like that. Definitely it may seem kind of interesting, but I found myself very like an ammo hoarder, and one of my friends I played with was just an ammo waster. So it kind of,
Oh, that's me.
it was kind of a good balance where I would collect all the ammo and then I'd watch him use it all and repeat the process. But I mean, the story, I mean, yes, it does kind of it doesn't exactly feel like some of the other Resident Evil games, but I liked a lot of the dialogue and the witty dialogue they had between a lot of the characters. The gameplay was really smooth. You could actually aim where you shoot, body parts fly off. I mean, it's
What was the game mode you unlocked after you beat the game where you could play as the 4 different characters?
Mercenaries.
Mercenaries.
Ah.
Yeah, and
snapping necks with Hulk.
Yeah, yep,
Or
exactly.
Hunk, right?
Funny story about that. If anyone's ever played Mercenaries, my friend and I, he threw away all of Hunk's weapons, and he was on a level where there's like a double chainsaw guy, and he was literally running in a circular pattern, and he almost 5-starred the level with no weapons, just
That's pretty impressive.
letting them throw dynamite at each other, and yeah, it was amazing. I couldn't believe it happened, but yeah, 5-starring every level with every character gets you like the hand cannon, and there's a lot of good stuff, fun gameplay for that game.
Yeah, no. And the most amazing thing about that game, and you may never see this again, that game came out in January.
Yeah,
What was that, '05? And it won Game of the Year.
Yeah.
In January. That never happens. By January, if you come out in January, by the end of the year when everybody's making Game of the Year decisions, you have been completely forgotten about. Because whatever games came out in the holiday season always dominate. And it didn't even matter.
Yeah. It just was such a well-rounded game. And the fact that it got released multiple times and it got like 10 out of 10 on Game Informers on multiple occasions, it definitely is a great game.
I think there's a parallel too with what that game did for Resident Evil and what Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain is doing for that series.
Ah.
Like they are very much changing the gameplay of the series. And
Yeah.
I think in a very, very good way.
It always seems like a risk, like sometimes when they change stuff. Like, I don't know, a lot of times it's amazing, like, with Resident Evil 4 or Metal Gear Solid, but like sometimes they just, like, I felt like the changes with those games were necessary and they did, like, enough to make it well-rounded, or they obviously took their time making the games. But it's always really scary when you hear like a game, one of your favorite franchises. I've been a Metal Gear Solid fan for a long time, that they change a lot. But then you got to think, oh, wait, they've never led me wrong before, so.
Yeah. Okay, so that's 3. What would be your 4th game out of your core 4, Drew?
I went with a turn-based RPG. I'm not sure if anyone here has played it, but Persona 3 is a really amazing JRPG. It's got a great story. It was one of those games I found myself like. Has anyone played the game?
I have Persona 4 Golden, but I haven't gotten very far in it because it is very overwhelming trying to jump into the series at that point.
Yeah, and 3 was my first one too, and like all the day class. I mean, like you go to the day, like during the day, you're like a student in classes, and you're at least in 3, and you're trying to like, everything you do, every choice you make, every question you answer, like it actually like increases your character. But they call it like the midnight hour in that game, so at midnight,
Yeah.
it like demon things come out, and you have to stop it, and you climb multiple levels. And it was one of those games I found myself like. I had like a test the next day or like class, and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna get to the next level, and I would just keep going. it definitely, I think it was one of the many games, but of recent that I actually got like the characters to max level and all that crazy stuff. So
You've recommended that game to me so many times. I feel like
Yeah.
there's got to be a point where I actually play it.
yeah, it's really good. I mean, I do really like 4, and a lot of people tend to like 4 because of the golden edition and things like that. But I think that 3 is definitely my favorite of the Persona series. And then they got 5, and I can't wait for that one to come out too.
I think people just like Persona on the go on the Vita.
Yeah, that's why with the new like cross-play stuff that they got going on, I think like having it on Vita and PS4 is just gonna make it even better. That you can play it at home on your TV, and then just cross your save over to your Vita and go play it when you're not at home, or if you have to go into a different room. It's super crazy.
Yeah, I gotta get on that Persona 4 project because I'd like to have it done before 5 comes out.
And I think they pushed Persona back till next year, like March or something. So you got time.
That's good. That by then I should probably be 50% on Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah, heard that game's pretty ridiculously massive.
Oh man, surprised you
Yeah.
haven't played yet. The game's amazing.
Yeah, you forget I have over like 700 games. That my backlog is like like sometimes I'll go and I'll be like, what game should I play? And I'll like sit and I'll look, and then I'll get kind of like I'm like, oh, these all seem so good, and then I'll just kind of waste my time trying to figure out which one I'm going to play instead of actually playing one.
No, man. Your option should always be the Phantom Pain.
Yeah, actually, that's good. That's going to be my next one. After I'm done with my Madden fix, I'll definitely be rocking out that game next. So I have it, and I have it downloaded and installed. Yeah.
It'll take your life away for about 3 weeks. I'm just going to throw that out there. But it's great. Such a great game.
Yeah, that's what literally everyone who's played it, and like I still talk with a lot of my old like staff or people I became friends with through GameStop, and I've not heard a single bad thing about that game at all. So
The only bad thing about it is that I am not 18 and I cannot just play all day long.
yeah,
Oh, man.
If only. Well, Drew, that was a pretty pretty wicked Core 4, and I've played 3 out of your 4 games and can agree with you on them. They are really good games, and I'm starting to get down with the Persona thing. So I missed it before, but I'm trying to get on board now. And I'm sorry we put Matt to sleep. All right, so with that, with everybody kind of having a better idea of Drew and who he is as a gamer, let's get into the topic of the night here. And what we want to talk about tonight is pre-orders, DLC, and limited edition games. And they're kind of 3 things that they exist all around the games we play without actually being the games we play. But they have different values to different people. So I guess we'll start at the beginning with the pre-orders. I don't know what your thoughts are on pre-orders. The first thing that jumps to mind for me is how once upon a time they were the most important thing in the world if you wanted to get your day one copy. And now they're fairly irrelevant.
Yeah, nowadays you can just get the game whenever. You don't have to pre-order it to make sure you get a copy. They're always going to have extra copies wherever you go. But I remember you saying they had, back in the day, if you didn't pre-order it, you probably weren't getting that game.
Yeah, no, there were a lot of games I missed because I didn't pre-order them.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean, back in like my original when I first started at GameStop, that was definitely a lot more I'd still say it happens with obscure games. So if it's and when I say obscure, I don't mean it has to be a game that no one likes, but not a lot of the popular ones like Call of Duty or Madden or all those main titles. There's tons of copies, but there's games if you're trying to get Persona or a lot of those unique ones. A lot of those ones have the possibility of selling out, but there's also tons of retailers now that sell games. So
I think that brings up a good point. I think that's what changed a lot of it. It's not just one place you have to go to get games. You can get games anywhere now. And now I think a lot of the big department, the box stores, they all have pre-orders also. I know when I was working at Target for a while, you can go in there and pre-order a lot of the games. But I never understood why anyone would do that. We always had extra copies. It was always 2 people, and you're like, why are you doing this? We're going to have copies, and if we don't have it today, we're going to have it tomorrow. That's how this works. But I think for the more obscure, unique games, you're going to have issues where it might run out or might sell out. But nowadays, with digital, there's no reason to pre-order. And so I think a lot of the companies have started. What was that?
I was going to say there is one thing that seems to be kind of driving pre-orders now, and it's the I think maybe you were about to get to this, the pre-order bonuses.
Yeah, the bonuses are what's drawing people in, but in reality, they're not anything important. Just a cool trinket.
For sure.
Yeah, well, what was it? Grand Theft Auto 5 had the blimp, right?
Yeah.
And everybody advertised that pre-order it at their store and you get the blimp.
Yep.
Which wasn't true. It was in every brand new copy. It was a slip inside the game case. You did not have to pre-order it anywhere to get it, but they tricked you kind of into thinking, oh, I better pre-order it because I want the blimp. Why
get
wouldn't
the money up front?
Yeah, and they don't give you anything really essential for the game like they used to. Back in the day, it was you got a weapon that you'd never see, or you got cool a Mario coin that the only way you can get is through reserving it and picking it up. and like now it's like, oh hey, you get a helmet for your third character, and your shoe for your left foot. I like it's like some of the pre-order bonuses, like even at GameStop, when I'm trying to, like I'm trying to, tell someone about it. I'm trying to get them excited about it, because I love the game, and it's like, like yeah,
Can't
it's
really
fun.
get excited about like a T-shirt. Like a lot of RPGs will have like an item, and the item you can only use for like the first 5 levels, and then after that it's completely useless.
Who do they make those shirts to fit anyway? Because every time I got a pre-order shirt, it just did not fit. Like I was like, what body type is shaped like this shirt? Like I don't know if any of you ever had that.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of like where they either all ship you like double XLs, or sometimes they would ship me like one small and like a bunch of double XLs. So I'm like, as
Are they trying to say something about the community?
yeah,
What are you getting at, man? What's with these 2XL shirts?
That's what happens when you sit around playing Call of Duty, drinking Mountain Dew, eating Cheetos.
Nectar
I
of the
don't
gods.
Well said, sir. Matt, any thoughts on pre-orders?
I think they've kind of lost their value over the years, but there was one recently that I was really excited about. That was the EVE Online 50th anniversary thing, where if you
Wait.
pre-ordered that, they actually sent you like a cast model of a ship.
What?
that's pretty awesome.
That is
Are you
awesome.
telling me my dad could have played EVE Online? Damn.
That's crazy. That's
yeah,
actually
for me,
worth getting.
The only time I will pre-order anything is if it comes with physical content now.
It makes sense. 'Cause
The
all
digital stuff, I'm just like, screw it.
Yep.
Well, I mean, there was one other main bonus of pre-ordering stuff is if you want, like some people are really crazy about midnight releases, and like, people don't realize that if you want a midnight release, I mean, at least for GameStop, like you have to pre-order the game, otherwise that's what gets the stores a midnight. And like people would always complain, like, "Hey man, there's no midnight for that game." And I'm like, "Did you reserve it?" No. I'm like, "Well, and they're not gonna let me be open for like 3 hours paying 4 people if no one's gonna come to the game." But you have to say that obviously in the nicest way possible. But some people just like they just didn't get that. But I would say like besides like really good pre-order bonuses over the crappy ones, and if you're really excited about actually getting like a midnight for it, those would be the only benefits I would see.
You make a good point there about that. I hadn't thought of it in that regard.
I think that only really applies to like the younger gaming community.
True, yeah,
I haven't gone to a midnight release since what, Modern Warfare 2?
I think I went to Grand Theft Auto 5.
Ah.
Yeah, the last two I went to, Grand Theft Auto 5 and Skyrim. And let me tell you, those two lines are totally different.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like two different experiences for those two midnight releases.
Oh. I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Anybody come dressed up for the Skyrim one?
Yeah, I did have some people dressed up. I've had people dressed up for like Resident Evil ones too.
Wait, how do you cosplay Resident Evil? I want to hear this more.
Well, we did a contest actually for Resident Evil. It was like if you dressed like dressed like a zombie or a character, we did that. And we had a couple.
Did anybody do the Castellan? That would have been funny.
We only had like a couple, like we had like a couple people with zombies. We had one person dress up like Leon, and then we had one person dress up like an umbrella worker, like like a laboratory worker, which actually was probably the most, because I'd never thought of someone trying to do that for that, but I thought the zombie ones obviously were the best.
Okay. Sounds like it was pretty cool, actually. I like it.
Yeah,
I haven't. I don't know. There's always a bunch of games that I want, but I've never felt the need to go to a midnight. Like, I think that's the other thing. The fact that I can get it digitally, I don't really care to actually go out.
Yeah.
It'd just be my laziness, but I don't really feel the need to do that anymore.
Yeah, now instead of waiting in lines, I'm just waiting for the download queue.
Yep.
Yeah.
How fast internet is now, it's like.
Well, preloads and stuff make that even pretty bearable.
Except when they decide they're not going to preload it. It was like pre-order on Metal Gear Solid 5 on Steam, but it's not going to download beforehand, so, just pre-order it with us. It's like, come on, man.
Probably just Kojima messing with you, man.
Yeah, I swear. Now I have to wait until January to play the online? Like, come on. Help us out here.
Do you guys remember the launch night of Diablo 3? Did any of you try to play that night?
I didn't play till the next
so.
day, but I remember there were a lot of server issues that first night.
Yeah. I macroed my password to log in.
Wow.
Just kept hitting the button over and over until I finally got in about 20 hours later.
Yeah, that was a bit of a mess. Actually, the first few days were kind of messy for that, if I remember.
Yeah.
I didn't really care. Diablo was back.
That's how I felt too.
Yeah.
I don't think I got that on the first day. I think I waited about a week.
You probably won, sir.
Came on, it was nice and smooth. Yeah, I had no issues with that.
Any game that demands you be online, you're probably better off waiting a week anymore, because anytime it's mandatory online, it just seems like it starts broken.
You gotta wait for the masses to fall off.
Yeah.
Okay, so pre-orders. Any good pre-order stories before we kind of move off of the pre-orders?
Yeah, actually I have one. So when Drew was working at one of the GameStops, we all pre-ordered, I think it was Modern Warfare 2. And at the time, a roommate, Andy, we were all trying to get everyone to pre-order with Drew so he can get the bonuses from that. And so Andrew decided, nah, you know what? I'm going to pre-order at the store that's closer so I can play before all of you guys. So it was me, I think a couple of other my friends were sitting there waiting for a time to actually head out there. And Andrew's like, all right, guys, I'm out. I'm going to go get in line first so I can get this game before you guys. So I'm pretty pissed off. I'm like, come on, man, don't be a dick. Help the guy out. Nope, he already did it. So we decided we're just going to hide his Xbox controller in one of the kitchen cabinets. And then we left. And so we were standing in line waiting for the pre-order, and I get like a series of 10 texts. Where the fuck is my controller? Where'd you put it? I'm just laughing the whole time. I was like, he's gonna wait until we get our copy. That's how I feel right now. The whole time he's just like, God, why did you hide my controller? I'm like, dude, chill, man. It's in there. You just gotta find it. You gotta find it before you can play. And that was one event, and then that same night, as we were driving in, we got pulled over by some cops because some guy robbed the grocery store next door. It was a pretty fun night, I would say.
I think that was Modern Warfare 2, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because then I went and got it the next day.
Yeah. Yep. It was a good time, though.
That was a long time ago. That was when I was at the first store I was at.
Yeah.
I don't know. I remember, two pre-order stories, and they're both one's about pre-ordering, one's not about pre-ordering. The not pre-ordering was for Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic on the Xbox.
Oh, wow.
And not being a PC gamer up until that point, I really didn't quite know what was going on with like BioWare and their track record with games.
Yep.
I just knew that there was like a Star Wars RPG coming out, and I kind of heard about it late, and I was like, I'm going to get that. So I went to the store as soon as they opened the day it came out. They had one extra copy. So I managed to score it, and then I went home and played for 12 straight hours and swore I would never do that again. And I didn't until the sequel came out, and then I did it again. But yeah, got lucky on that one. The other one was my nightmare with Chrono Cross. And no, it wasn't the game. It was that at the mall where I had pre-ordered it, at the EB Games, there were 2 stores, one on each side of the mall. Well, I always ordered at the one. Well, back in that day, the games came in the day they were supposed to release. They didn't get them, they didn't beat street date with their deliveries. So I went, they hadn't got their copy yet, sat around for like an hour, UPS still didn't show up, sat around for another hour, UPS still didn't show up. They finally called and found out UPS was not coming with their copies of the game.
Oh.
All in all, by the time we had found this out, it had been like over 3.5 hours probably. They called the other store on the other side of the mall. Not only did they get their copies, they got extras. So they brought down like 6 copies for the 6 dudes who, you know, including me, who were sitting out there waiting for this damn game. So, you know, by the time I got home, I'd lost about 5-6 hours of my day waiting around for a game.
Oh man, I don't even know if I would have waited.
I had nothing better to do. I was 19.
There you go.
I read a newspaper. Tell my grandkids about that. They'll be like, "What's a newspaper?"
Newspaper.
Be like, it was the internet, but it was on a piece of paper. It was really big.
It's that stuff you use to start fires.
Yeah, there you go. Either of you guys got any good pre-order stories?
I think the only memorable one I have was for Black Ops 2. I made the mistake of ordering it at Best Buy.
Oh, I thought you were going to stop right after you said ordering it.
Well, this
Anyway.
ended up being kind of a win. Because when I went to pre-order it, they were out of the hardened editions or whatever the special edition was for that one.
Okay.
So I just pre-ordered the regular one. And then after waiting in line that night, I think we were there probably half hour, 45 minutes before they let the doors open. And my friend John and I were standing in line. And we get into the store, and they just had like a big, huge line that would form, and you just grabbed it from a desk and then went to the checkout. Well, they weren't checking which version you ordered. So
wow.
John and I just walked up to the desk and we're like, "Yeah, we want some hardened editions."
Oh, man.
They just handed them right to us, and we went on our merry way. Never called out on anything, so
That's the best,
out-
man. Yeah, retail workers really give no fucks. They're just like, all right, whatever. What's the worst that can happen?
And they wonder why they get yelled at by customers all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, interesting stuff. No, just kidding. Yeah, that's kind of the way that Best Buy and Target kind of do their reserves. Is like it was like you pay $1 or whatever, and they don't really actually like what I've heard. Like, because I don't, you know, I worked for GameStop for so long, so obviously I reserve from there or Steam or things like that. Is people would tell me like, oh, hey, I had this collector's edition reserved, and they would go to pick it up, and they sold their copy already of the collector's edition,
Yep.
and they just tell them there's nothing they can do about it. So I don't know. It just always kind of bugged me because it's like if I were in their shoes, and I reserved like this collector's edition, I've been saving up for a long time, and go to pick it up, and they tell me I sold it to somebody other guy, then I might not be so happy. But I don't know. It works for Matt though. I'm happy he got it. The other guy, he was probably like, got to his knees and just shook his hands to the air like, "Thank you, Matt, for saving me from buying that game." No.
Oh, there we go. He's here all week, people. Tip your waitress.
And I do have one pre-order story. This is, I mean, because it just sucks because most of the years that I, like was in college and stuff like that, I was working, so reserves are pretty routine. But I'm gonna go all the way back to high school, and when Halo 2 came out, I might get in trouble if some of my family hears this, but basically I was able to get someone to write a note for me so that I can miss school. And my friend went to the midnight release of Halo and bought both of our copies. And I went to go to school that day and went over to his house, and all day long I played Halo 2. But the campaign and then some multiplayer and stuff like that. But probably the coolest thing game-wise that I definitely did in high school. Just I can't believe I missed a day of school, and a lot of my classmates kind of knew that that's the reason why I wasn't there. But
I remember that day. Yeah.
We all knew.
they're like, "How was Halo 2? How's the story?" I'm like, I was sick. I had Halo-itis where I just couldn't make it.
Oh, that's a great virus to have too, man. No. Okay, so pre-orders, we had a lot to talk about there. And that kind of rolls right into the next part of the discussion, the limited editions. Where do you guys stand on them? Do you think they're worth it? I mean, obviously, this is where pre-orders are really important. If this is something you value, then you usually do want to pre-order it.
I like the limited editions of RPGs. They usually come with like a nice booklet. You get some type of statue. Like it's always something physical that you can have. MMOs on the other hand are usually just like a digital mount. Oh, you can get a mount at level 5. Oh, it's like, come on, what is that? What, everyone's riding the same mount?
So what we've learned here, ladies, is that if you want to woo Chris, bring a booklet and a statue on the date. Because that matters.
I mean, just give me something nice I can read. I'm fine with that.
Bring that, and his pants fall to the floor right there.
Oh man, it's a lot of the limited edition ones like a lot of people give Call of Duty a bad time because they pretty much, well, they used to be like the same game pretty much re-released, and most of the people that played it were a little crazy. But they always had something, like you get the hardened edition, you get a nice case, and a nice collector's case, and then I think it was the Prestige edition always came with something like physical and legit. They were one year it was night vision goggles, one year was like a RC car. Like I was like, dang, what? And like,
then there was the care package one.
Oh yeah, the care package one. Like these are nice. They're not in the game. You can use them, and they actually work. And it wasn't for like a really ridiculous price. It was pretty much worth what you were getting. But you don't get that much anymore. A lot of games kind of fail on that part. Like, oh, you can get our collector's edition with absolutely nothing. It's like, oh, cool. Nothing.
Yeah, I guess it depends. Are there any limited editions that really stand out in your mind, Matt, Drew?
I remember the Skyrim one looked pretty cool. I never got that one though.
Yeah, I passed on it myself.
I can't remember what was in it now. It was the dragon statue, I think. Drew, you have it, don't you?
I do.
Artwork book, right? Coffee table book.
Yep. Comes with the art book, soundtrack, and it came with the big statue of a dragon. I did not have to pay the $160, $50 price. I waited. Fortunately for me, I waited until it went down to $60, and then I the game. So I traded in the game for like $30, and I got all the goodies and fixins. But I would say for the $150, like so there's people buying it like like the day it came, the midnight, and like some people would open it in front of me, and I'm just like, I don't know. I didn't really think that it. I thought it was probably worth like 120, not 150. I don't know. I just thought that was a little bit too much. But.
I know you usually get the people that decide they don't like a game and return it with the full like.
There
package.
it is, right there, fellas.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably should have gotten that. But I remember Drew would always come back with like a hardened edition or a limited edition of a game where someone just returns the game with all the stuff with it. Yeah. And he's like, why would you do this? You just give them out. Like, here you go, man.
Like, I got like two of those Assassin's Creed 2 statues. I think they're worth like $150, and someone would like trade in the game with it. I'm like, dude, you can keep this stuff. and they're like, nah, I don't want it anymore. I'm like, alrighty then, you know. But yeah, I got a lot of collector's editions from, like, obviously I bought my fair amount of them. I've gotten a lot better at not buying them unless it's something really, really good, like a Persona game or something that I'm super passionate about. But I don't know, it just has to be really, really worth it or cheap enough that I will splurge on it.
See, that's where I failed as a PC gamer. I don't buy physical copies of games anymore, and so like the limited edition is really nothing. But if I bought the physical limited edition, it's like, yeah, I got something nice. But I don't think I'm really missing out on much, although some of the stuff is pretty cool. But
I don't know. Each one is its own value proposition, I suppose.
It's true. It's true.
To me, I'm at the point where I'm out of space. I got too much game stuff. Like, I no longer want statues or books or soundtrack CDs. Like, everything digital. Please stop taking up space in my house. Yeah. And I've just crossed that event horizon, unfortunately. Although maybe I'll just buy a bigger house.
There you go, with a separate room just for games.
But
Yeah.
build a new house in your backyard just for your games.
Well, that's where I was going to build the sick house. That's not where people go when they're sick. That's where I kick the whole family out to when I'm sick. Like, just leave me the hell alone, please.
Yeah, one of my fun collector's edition stories, it was for Killzone 3. It was another Best Buy one. So it was probably 6 months after the game came out, and they had these collector's editions sitting on the shelf. I think it was called Hellgast Edition. And I was walking by one day, and I looked at it, and it said it was on sale. And I was like, it's only $40. And I looked at the shelf next to it, and there's just the game for $60.
Oh, man.
I'm sitting there like, And like one of the employees walked up. He's like, "Hey, can I help you find anything?" I'm like, "No, I think I already hit the jackpot here." He's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Well, look, collector's edition's 40, regular game's 60. What would you do?" He goes, "That does look like the jackpot."
Yeah, man, that's pretty weird. Somebody
A lot
messed up.
A lot of companies will just try to put stuff out. So, like, working in the electronics section, we'd get a lot of the collector's edition. And after about like a month or two, if they haven't moved, they'll drop the price on them. It's like, what? I mean, I guess dropping the price below just the regular copy of the game is going to help get them out of your stock, but it's like, at least just bring it down to the price of the actual game. Don't. Are you really that desperate to get it off the shelf?
Guess if it takes up more space, then it has less value.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
the care
suppose,
package Call of Duty took up a lot of space.
Yeah, that probably had more to do with it than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Like, have you ever guys seen the Titanfall Collector's Edition? The one that came with like an 18-inch statue or whatever?
No.
No, what?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's
Hold on, I gotta look this up.
massive. It literally was like half the size of me. Like the box, like literally I took the box that it came in and I put it over myself and I was walking around my store like I was Snake. Like, it was huge.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was a huge box, and like they're still probably sitting in GameStop back room, still like $130 because there's some SKUs in like the system that just I swear corporate just forgot about. Like there's games that were there was like a Blu-ray collection that they had like for $150. I'm like, I've had this since like 6 years now, and it still hasn't gone down in price, or we haven't given it away for free.
Dude, I want this thing.
Well, Titanfall is pretty much a flop.
Yeah.
So I understand why people completely forgot about that. I think Origin now, like, it's like $20 for the game, but if you want, you can play for 48 hours for free. It's like, well, I'll just play it for 48 hours and then not ever play it again. I'm fine with that.
Hold on, how do I show you this webpage?
Just find the green screen on the left-hand side there. It says screen share.
There we go. check this out.
Yeah, it was ridiculous if that's what. Yeah.
But it went away fast.
Wow. Wow.
It's posted under his picture now. Yeah, it's but it came in a bigger box, like a cardboard
Holy
box.
crap.
There's a person in that box.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
I talked to my
That's
advisor that I
ridiculous.
said I found him a new house. And you should go set it up underneath the bridge or something. It was just ridiculous.
Why would
Dang.
they need that?
Yeah, but like the statue like moved and it was like, but it was like $250 when it came
Oh,
out.
it moved.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I mean, you can like walk across, but it moved in place, kind of a deal, you know.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Back to Matt's story though, like you wouldn't believe how many people you have to convince. Like I've had to convince people to buy a collector's edition version for less than the regular copy, and I've had people look me in the face and say no. They're like, I don't want that. I just want the regular edition. And I'm like, I could open up the collector's edition and then just give you the game for the same price. Like people would argue that they did not want the copy for less with more stuff in it, which sounds crazy, but it happened all the time.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, like I literally wanted to face palm in front of them, but I couldn't quite do that.
Maybe it's just a space issue where they don't have enough space for any of it. But
Well,
just give it away. Sell it.
Yeah, I mean, heck, you could there's a dumpster outside my store. You could probably just buy the copy for the less price and just throw it away in the dumpster, or you can throw it in the garbage. I don't care, but
Regift it at Christmas. Huh?
Yeah, a bunch of random stuff. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe with I'm sure you guys have heard of the Park Rewards card or whatever. I had someone who would have saved. They were trading in and buying a bunch of stuff. He would have saved $50 net for signing up for the rewards card. We would have paid him $50, and he said no. What? I'm like, we're gonna pay you $50 if you just, give me the same information. It's the same information for the trade-in as it was for the rewards card, which is the most ironic thing ever. And he just wouldn't. He didn't want it. He didn't want $50. So there are crazies out there.
I don't know. I guess people are more skeptical of if it's going to be a catch or not.
True.
Well, you give me $50. What do I have to do?
We only take your, organs and stuff like that.
What do you want with my kidneys, man? I don't want your money. I get that.
I don't know. It just happens more often than you would think. So.
Got to be wary of people, man. A lot of companies will try to get you on something.
True.
Oh man. Well, I remember one particular limited edition that just kind of I thought was a bit much, and put it up here for you guys to look at. Anybody remember this?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Yep. Yep, I remember seeing that.
I was just like, what didn't they put in this box? My God, everything's in there.
I mean, it makes sense for the game. The game is a lot. The game is pretty much a lot, so that makes sense to have all of that crap in there. It's legit stuff.
Yeah, no, it's pretty neat. The chest is probably the best part, to be
I
honest.
think so.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. So anything else on the limited editions?
Nope, nothing here. I don't have many limited edition copies of games. I think I was tempted to buy. So when ESO came out beforehand, they had you had the regular edition, and then you had the next tier, and I can't remember the name of that, and then you had the third tier. And I was tempted to buy that third tier, but I just opted out on getting the second one. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like a booklet, a statue, similar to how the Skyrim one was.
For which game?
Excuse me, Elder Scrolls Online.
Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah, it came with a statue. It came with very similar stuff. It was $100.
Mm-hmm.
It came with like a statue, like a map for the area.
Yeah, that's right.
Statue.
It was the Imperial statue, right?
Yep. Yeah, I almost bought one of those. Like that came out like my last week of being at GameStop over PlayStation, Xbox. And I was like, I was gonna buy it, and I'm like, yeah, no, I think I'll just not get it.
The book looked kind of cool. There was just the lore of everything. It was pretty nice.
Yeah.
But I just opted out on the cool mount on my digital order.
What, you don't want to mount and like have everyone look at you like you bought the collector's edition?
Have everyone with the same mount just look at you like,
The worst.
You
thing.
too, huh?
yeah.
Or can you buy armor for it?
I think it was a mount and then a vanity pet. That's what it was.
Oh no, if I can't buy DLC horse armor, then I'm just not interested. We'll get to that.
Does anyone remember like Halo Reach at all?
Yeah.
Oh, we just talked about Reach last week.
The collector's edition came with the worst thing, like the $150 one. It came with a flaming helmet, which you're like, oh, that's so cool. Except for when you're playing SWAT and it's like one-shot kill headshots. I remember like when I had it and I was wearing it and I'm like, why the hell are people killing me so much? And then I picked up a turret and I'm like, or no, that was before then. Could you do that in that game? It's been so long since I played it, but I remember something pointed out to me that my head was on fire, and I'm like, well, that's why.
That is exactly why.
The only thing that could be better than that would be if it was like the beacon of light, and it was just a pillar of light that just shot up to the heavens everywhere you went. You know,
Thank you.
like I'm over here.
Yeah, I don't think I saw anybody wearing that helmet after like the first week.
Oh, yeah. I did. I saw people wearing that like months in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
Some people choose style over substance, man. It's just how it is.
Style.
Every time they see SWAT, they just vote against it. Cleave. They're like, SWAT, just leave. Grenade that, run away.
Here is one I wanted to bring up. Talking about limited editions here. I can't stand when there's 3 different SKUs for a game. Like, if it's regular game, limited edition, I'm okay with that. If it's regular game, give us a little bit extra money edition, and then give us a whole lot of money limited edition, I'm just like, no, please stop. Like, this is too much. Like, just game, limited edition, done. Let's go home. Like, I don't know. Did that drive you crazy at GameStop when you had to deal with 3 different SKUs for the game?
Yeah, and it's just because like some would sell out faster than the other ones, and then some people have their heart set on one particular one, and it was like a lot of the new Call of Duties do like the game, and then you get the season pass with it, and like one extra, like you get like a wristband or some stupid, and like we'd be sold out, and people would be literally like having like a hissy fit, like that they couldn't get the middle edition and that they didn't want to spend the extra for the really big edition, things like that. But yeah, it was crazy. Like you have a line of customers out your door, and they're like, hey, well, what different versions of Call of Duty do you have? And you're like, we have this $80, or this one, and then we have this one. You have to explain the differences between the two, and it's just not simple either for most people who don't, I don't know. It just seemed to cause a lot more problems with the customers trying to understand what came with the other editions than it, for me myself. But.
Well, couldn't they just like add, like, all right, so here's our game, here's the next level, and then the third level is like the last level that you could get plus a little extra. But it's always something completely different. It's not like, okay, well, you get the booklet plus this for the next edition. It's always 2 completely different packages.
Yeah.
At least from my experience. Makes sense why you would have a lot of confusion there.
Yeah, I dealt with a lot of people really mad, like upset because they wanted one thing from one and one thing from the other. And some people, like I had those occasional customers who were made enough that they could buy both, and then have all that stuff. But a lot of people were like, "Oh man, I really want this extra character." Like Mortal Kombat was a good example. Like it came with like a bunch of like DLC in the $100 edition that it didn't come with like the $150 edition. It was like I think 80 and 100, one of those two. But like it came with two totally different things, and you're just really
Doesn't
like,
even make sense.
do I want the exclusive character for the lesser amount, which makes no sense, or do I want to spend more money to get the statue, the cool I think it was Scorpion statue that actually was really well done. I thought it was probably worth it, but not that I thought it was stupid it didn't come with the extra character that the lesser edition came with.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous.
It was like, hey, you buy this $100 edition more, and we're actually just gonna slap you across the face and call it a day. And I don't know, just that's what it kind of felt like. People were very upset about it, and that's always difficult when you're in retail, is when you're dealing with someone that's upset and there's nothing you can do.
Oh, geez. Yeah, not a position I'd want to be in, that's for sure.
Nope.
Okay, so we covered pre-orders, we covered limited editions. Let's get to the last part of this topic, the DLC.
Oh, man.
Thoughts on DLC, guys?
Yeah, like, there's good and bad DLC. Alright, so, good DLC, I will say The Witcher
Like
3.
Waterfalls, Shoop, what else did they do? Was it Push It?
What's that?
Never mind, that was TLC. Come on, man. Keep up.
You can't switch that up, man.
Yeah. Sorry, man. Caught you napping. Anyway, go continue, Chris.
There was, so like The Witcher 3 had like 3 DLCs before they released one where you had to pay. So you bought the game and then you got like 3 different added content to your game, 3 different DLCs that actually added content to the game for free.
Yeah.
And then they released another one like a year later. No, it's not a year. It was like 3 months later.
It was, I believe the game came out in like March-ish, May. No, it came out in May because it kept getting pushed back. And the first DLC comes out, I believe October, the actual like paid DLC.
Yeah.
It's supposed to come out this month. And at the time, it was like, hey, you're buying this $60 game. Do you want to buy the DLC? And people were like, when does the DLC come out? I'm like, well, they're giving you free stuff for now, but the paid one doesn't come out till October. So, I mean, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 months, from when it comes out. And hardcore sell. But I think the Witcher ones are worth it because they give you free ones, and then it's like an extra 30 hours of gameplay, a whole extra island. I mean, like the paid ones were.
Yeah. It was quality content added to the game. It actually added something to it. And then there's the bad, which the map packs always bothered me. And then they would do that, buy a season pass. It's like, so now I get to pay for content that I have no idea what it's going to be like. I don't know what the next 4 DLCs are going to be. It's kind of
I love season passes, man.
Yeah.
I've never gone on a rant about how they're like kind of ridiculous.
No,
But you know what? Map packs are bad. I'll admit that, although I don't know what else you monetize in an FPS. But the Arkham Knight still kills me. Just like, there'll be something in the season pass. Just buy it. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Like,
I don't think I've ever bought a DLC for the Arkham series. Like, I've waited. Maybe it's because I've waited and got, like, I know the first 2 I got the Game of the Year editions, like, a year or 2 later. And then the third one I bought, and they were releasing DLCs. I was like, I don't really care for it. The game got too repetitive. But, like, take Skyrim. DLCs for Skyrim besides Hearthfire or whatever were really good. Hearthfire was like, hey, you could play Sims in Skyrim, so that's cool.
people love that stuff, though, man.
Yeah, there's some people that enjoy it. It adds that immersion to it, but I wasn't really, like, set on it. It didn't really add anything for me.
After the game stole 200 hours of my life, the last thing I wanted to do was spend 40 hours playing House.
Yeah.
No, I got to go. I got to do something else.
Yep. It was a nice little addition. You can add your weapons to your, everything.
Oh, hey, if you
have.
got the time or that's your
Yeah.
thing, do it.
That's it.
That was not for me. I'm with you. I was not excited about, Dream Mansion Builder.
The other two were well done.
Yeah.
Dragonborn and Dawnguard added extra story to it, added an extra area to it. NPCs kind of changed some of their content. It was well done.
And
added,
PlayStation 3 users just got it last week.
I forgot
No,
about
I'm just kidding.
DLCs. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of exclusive DLC. I think it's very hurtful, and it doesn't really. I don't know. Do you see anybody buying a game like, oh my god, I have to get it for this system because it gets the DLC sooner? Like,
Nope.
I don't know.
don't
And
think I've heard it.
it's just bad because the company that does it just looks like the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like, oh, you leverage to take this away from someone else. Like the people who have the system that gets the exclusive DLC, they don't even see it as like, oh, thanks for doing that for me.
No.
They're just like, oh, the DLC's here, let me play it.
Yep.
But the people who don't get it just hate you even more for taking it away from them.
Yep.
At least that's the way I tend to see it.
I don't see anyone ever being like, oh man, I love Bethesda for releasing it only on Xbox for the first month. No one does that. No one does that. But people will hate a lot quicker if you say that they can't get it for another month. Like, it's exclusive anything in general, unless it's like an exclusive title for us for that specific system. Like that's okay. As soon as you start doing DLCs where, oh, you can get it this time, but the next system doesn't get it until like a month later, it's kind of bogus.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not a business practice that I think favorably of.
No.
Yeah, I mean the only people that would buy when I was selling it, and people were they're unsure of which system. They had both systems, and they're like, I don't know which one to get it on. And obviously I'd bring up like, are your friends playing it on or this, and I'm like, well, if you do buy it for this, you do get like some of like Destiny or something like that. You got a bunch of extra stuff for it. And which is a weird game if you don't have friends that play it. It wouldn't be a very exciting game if you were playing it by yourself the whole time.
That was the other thing. The map packs that you would get for FPS games, you would sit there and you just like, oh, I'm not going to buy the map pack now because I don't want to. And you realize the whole pool that you had for the group of people that you played with has now moved on to the map pack. So like, you can't queue up for anything as quickly as you used to because everyone got the map pack. So now you're just this lonely guy with like, I don't know, maybe 1,000.
You're at the kids' table.
Pretty much. You're pretty much off to the side, not really getting that much of an experience playing with a bunch of newer people, and it's not that great. It's not a great experience. Forcing you to shell out more money just to have a few extra maps that probably aren't that good.
Yeah, I guess it depends. I suppose a lot of it depends on the track record of who's making the maps.
True.
I generally don't get into them because when I do play an FPS, I play multiplayer early, learn those maps, and then new ones come out, and I'm like, I don't want to learn these things. Like, I want to play the maps I know.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Curmudgeon gamer here.
The problem I always had with map packs is it'd be like, oh yay, I have some new maps to play, and then a week later I hate them just as much as the others.
Oh man, that's good.
That's the proof. Yeah.
All right, Chris. So you brought up Bethesda and you brought up the good DLCs they did, but I'm not having a DLC conversation without talking about Bethesda and the Horse Armor DLC for The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. Do any of you guys remember the Horse Armor fiasco?
No, I do
No,
not.
I don't.
Okay. Well, it's funny because I lived it. Because I bought my Xbox 360, and the only game I had was The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. So I'm learning all the new stuff that's going on. I'm learning about achievements, and I didn't have Xbox Live on my Xbox, so like I'm getting used to that whole thing and the friends list. And then it's like DLC, and it's like you can buy more stuff for your game. And I'm like, oh, this might be cool. This might be a ripoff. Like, I don't know what's going on. So I'm like, all right, well, what do they got for Oblivion? I could dig some more content for this game. I like this. And I go in, and the only thing in there is horse armor. And I forget what the price was, so I'm not going to try to quote anything, but it didn't matter because it was goddamn horse armor. And I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? Horse armor? This is what DLC is going to be? Like, I was like, this is the worst idea ever.
I'm so glad they changed from that.
And then, thanks to the power of the internet, I found out this was a big deal to other people, too. Like, it wasn't just me. And I was like, okay. So, yeah, just terrible, and I'm sure Bethesda learned from it. They've poked jokes at it now, But that was a really bad first experience for me with DLC.
They definitely come a long way from that.
Oblivion came a long way from that because a lot of the other DLCs they put out for that were pretty cool. So, yeah.
Horse armor.
Oh, jeez.
Oh.
Yeah. Anything would have been better than that. I don't know. Any bad DLC experiences?
South Park: Stick of Truth. It's a good game. It's a very good game.
Yeah, it got a lot of Game of the Year nominations.
Yeah. Their DLC was like clothing items. So it's really kind of pointless. I mean, there was one that added content, but it wasn't anything worth playing. It was just kind of,
okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Funny. That was by Obsidian too, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
That's kind of surprising.
And
I know their track record with DLC is a little hit and miss, but just be all miss is kind of odd.
You can read all the reviews. Everyone's like, "Oh, the game is great. Just don't buy a DLC." It's completely useless. That's another one with I don't know if it was a pre-order item, but you got you got armor you could use at level 5, but then after level 5, it was completely useless. So you couldn't use it up until 5, and then once you're able to use it, you pretty much leveled quicker, and then you're done. Like, that was it.
Man.
Yeah, they kind of failed on that. Still a good game, just none of the extras was worth getting.
Unfortunately, true of too many games.
Yep.
All right. Anything else anyone wants to say about DLC? We're running pretty long on the topic here, so.
I have 2 quick points. One, day 1 DLC makes me extremely angry because that just tells me that they literally took it from the game and said, "Hey, let's make some money on this." Like,
you know what? I'm going to rebut you on that because I don't believe that's how it's done at all.
Well, example like Mass Effect 3, if you remember that game, from Ashes DLC. I mean, it came with the collectors, but that was a day 1 DLC. And if you haven't played Mass Effect 3, which I'm sure most people here have, that DLC was essential to the story. Like, I could not imagine playing through that game without that DLC.
Okay, well, that's not a day 1 DLC issue. That's a bad design choice. Like, somebody dropped the ball on the idea to make that DLC.
Yeah, but I know that there's a lot of... I mean, like, I've seen a lot of games that have had, like, similar things like that where I played through it, and I played through the DLC, and I'm like, this feels like it should be story. Like Dragon Age. I love Dragon Age. It's amazing, the New Inquisition. But I played through the DLC, and I finished the game, and it brings you back to before you finish the game, and they still refer to you before you finish the game, even though I've already finished the game. So there's some stuff that I agree that that's not their intention, but there are some stuff that it's really obvious that they take it and they're just trying to make an extra money off of the DLC.
Well, it's a case of if a developer makes a bad design decision or just outright screw something up, then we should let them know because otherwise they'll just do it again. But we shouldn't drop it on the label of day 1 DLC because it's not going away, and generally now it's just part of the game. Like, you're going to launch your game, and what's your day one DLC going to be? Because day one is the day the most people are thinking about your game. So that's the day you're going to get the most return on that DLC. So like people are like, oh, they just build the game and then they cut part of it off, and that's your day one DLC. And it's just like, no, that's not how they're doing it at a good studio. There might be some underhanded stuff at some other ones. What they're doing is developing these things together. So they got all their storyboards and all their design documents for the game, and then at the same time, since they're all working on the same stuff, they're also developing the day one DLC along with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I do agree, like, not all of it is that, but, like, I'm just saying some of the day one DLC that I've seen from working at GameStop. Like, I've had people call me and be like, hey, this, I mean, like, I don't know, just sometimes it feels like, yes, a lot of people are thinking about the game the day it comes out, but it just seems, I don't know, it just seems kind of really, like, if it's coming out the same day as the game that it comes out for, and it's essential for the story, I don't know. I just don't necessarily, see the point of charging people more money for a $60 game and then, $15 for day one DLC that's more story that actually is essential. Like, I'm so used to DLC, like, with, like, that adds to the story. I don't know. That's all I'm saying. I think that some day one DLC is okay, but there are some that just cross the line, in my opinion.
And we should definitely call those out.
I think day one DLCs are beneficial for the company, especially considering a lot of the DLCs come out months after the game's released. And so, like, the lifespan of the game isn't going to last that long. So people aren't really, like you said earlier, people aren't thinking about the game that far after. So, I mean,
most of them are on to the next game, whatever the new hotness is.
That's how it is. And so a day one DLC that adds content, so then they're all released at the same time, that's cool. I like that idea because then you can buy them, like, as you beat the game. So you beat the main game, get the DLC. Then you beat that DLC, you get the next DLC. But if it's something that's, like, imperative to the story, I don't think it should be allowed. I think that should be a thing at all.
Yeah, well, like I said, we got to call them out on stuff like that because, that's definitely not cool. The other thing, though, to keep in mind here with the DLC, I mean, just taking a poll, you pay $60 for your games.
Yep.
Are you down with paying $75? You down with paying $100?
I was hurting at 60, man.
Yeah, well, just remember that this DLC is allowing the whales to actually pitch in because the development costs are so high now that, trust me, publishers want to push the dollar value up, but instead they're monetizing it through DLC and additional purchases. So that's kind of why the video game prices are kind of staying flatlined at 60.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, if you look at it like this, if you're not down with it, just don't buy it and let the whales keep your game down at $60 for you.
That's true.
You know?
I know Elite Dangerous, I mentioned this in the last show, they have, it's kind of like a season pass, except it's pretty much buying a completely new game. So you buy Elite Dangerous, $60, right? And then they added this new content, which is huge. So they added, so in the past year, they added a few additions to the game. So they added new ships, they added a new gameplay. It's like a dogfight type of thing. And then for this new DLC, they add where you can actually land on the planets. So it's no more just flying up to a planet, looking at it, and then flying away. You can now actually land and use a rover to, like, traverse the planets.
When was that added?
It hasn't been added yet. It's it was they had like a teaser for it. It's coming out, I think, January.
I was missing out. I was like, oh crap, I gotta go, guys.
So, but they told you, they said, all right. So, well, first off, backstory. This game was funded by Kickstarter, so they really didn't have, like, money up front right away. They had to go and crowdfund for it. So they released the game, $60. You pay for it. You get all this extra stuff that comes out in that year, and then each year they're going to release a DLC for, I think, $60 again. But what they're trying to do is, so when you pay for $60 again, you pay for all the DLC that's coming out for the next year. And pretty much they've been keeping up with the community and actually taking feedback from what the community of players actually enjoy. I think I'm okay with this plan because at least you know what's coming. You can trust them. They've been doing it for a year already, and they at least have been keeping up with their promise. They say they're going to put this in the next patch, then you're going to get that in the next patch. They say they're going to do this, then they actually do it. I'm okay with that. It's like paying for a new game each year, but if the content is that much, considering how big that game is, I'm okay with it. Seems like a decent plan. But the season passes for other stuff that, I mean, even if you know the developer, still not that. I'm still not a fan of it. I just want to buy
your game and go home, right?
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. You want to call back to a simpler time. I dig it, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's Fulton this segment out of here and get it back to Mother Base. It was good. A lot of good stuff there. But we got to move on a bit. So, Chris, as always, I'll ask you, you got timer ready for me?
Timer has been ready.
Okay, because we're going to launch into Malgadar's minute here. So you just let me know when the countdown has started.
All right, I'm counting down from 3. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so this week for Malgadar's minute, I got something I got to deal with here. Controller prices. What the hell is going on with these controller prices? I cannot imagine any way that a controller has to cost $50 to $65. It's just ridiculous. I know there's some good technology in there, but I've seen better devices that cost less. So I just cannot believe that these things really cost this much. I'm sure that they probably cost about $30 to $40 at a 20% profit margin. And they're just taking the extra money because who's really going to stop us? There's really no like third parties making controllers anymore, so it's pretty much you just are stuck. It's like extortion. I mean, it's like when you go to buy milk, they could just charge whatever they want. Like nobody's stopping them. Like, you know, well, and now the Xbox Elite controller, $150. Are you kidding me? Like that's half a console. Like really, think about that. Half of a console.
That's time, man.
That's the Malgadar's minute. I'm pissed off as usual. Okay, Chris. So, you know what time it is.
All right.
20 questions time. Matt, you remember how this worked from last week?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Drew, you familiar with 20 questions?
I know how many questions are 20.
Okay, we're playing video game 20 questions. Chris has a video game. We got to figure out what it is. We got 20 questions to ask, yes or no, to try to decipher what his game is. You cannot guess at the game. That's a loss if you guess and guess wrong. So the idea is to use the questions to try to, by process of elimination, figure out what game he's hiding up his sleeve.
Okay.
All right, and I'm thinking at question 9, I'll give you guys a review of what, like after question 9, I'll give you a review of the questions to help refresh the memory.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right. I'll start off if you fellas don't mind.
Go ahead.
Go for it.
Okay. Was this game released before January 1st, 2000?
No.
Okay. It's a newer game, guys.
So it'd be within the last 15 years?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it an open world RPG?
No.
Is it a sports-related game?
It is not.
Ooh.
Okay. Is the publisher of this game still in business?
Yes.
Hmm. Did the game come out in the last 2 years?
No.
Okay, so we know it's between 2000 and 2013. Uh, you got a question, Matt?
Oh, wait. Well,
Whoa, whoa. Okay.
oh, no, that
Uh-oh.
was right. Never mind. I got my
Okay.
dates mixed up.
Ooh,
Okay.
playing a dangerous game, Chris.
Probably on that borderline of like 2012, 13, 14, somewhere in
guess
that
I was-
range. So he probably gave us a freebie there.
Yep.
Wait, was that a yes for my question?
No, he
Not
said
come
no.
out in the last 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's probably close if he had to check. So yeah.
Was it a strategy game?
No.
Ah,
Was this game exclusive to one console?
Nope.
All right, so we're talking multi-platform, guys.
Is it a type of shooter game?
It is not.
I was gonna ask if it was like a first or third, but I'm like, well, if I ask for, I was like,
Yeah, keep the questions more general.
yeah.
Yeah, you can kind of get some more leverage.
You guys literally have had nothing but no.
That's not true.
Oh, no, you had one. You
Yeah.
had one. Yeah.
Yeah, we know it's a publisher who's still around, which makes sense since we can now assume it came out probably 3 to 4 years ago. You got something, Matt?
Let's see here. Is it a music-related game?
Nope. All right, so we'll recap real quick.
Well, let me ask question 10, and then because we'll be halfway, and then how about we recap?
Sounds good.
Okay. Do you play as a human in this game?
Yes. All right, so recap. It was not released before. Actually, you know what? It was released between 2000 and 2013. All right, it's not an open world RPG. It's not sports related. The publisher is still in business. It's not a strategy game. It's not exclusive to any console. It's not a shooter. It's not music related, and you play as a human.
Okay, so we
Question
pared
11.
things down quite a bit.
I think so.
We already eliminated a lot of genres. We should try to think a little more about a game that was released somewhat recently by somebody who's still around. Play as a human. It's not strategy, not an open world RPG, not sports, not an exclusive, so it was multi-plat.
It doesn't have. I mean, it's not a shooter game, so
Yeah.
so that includes like third or first.
Could be any kind of open world action game because you had two qualifiers on your question. We don't really know which one it was that canceled it out.
Were you part of a secret society?
I'm gonna go with yes.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Interesting. What are you thinking there, Matt?
I was
You were barking up a tree with that
Yeah,
question.
that was a pretty good question.
I was aiming for Assassin's Creed, but now I don't know. Could be Uncharted, maybe.
Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking. I'm not thinking Uncharted.
I
But
don't think
it
people
might-
would say Drake is part of a secret
yeah,
society.
that's why I thought I eliminated that.
Okay.
Is it Uncharted a console exclusive game?
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
anyway.
it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, it can't be that one.
Huh. It's not exclusive. You play as a human, and there's a secret society.
Well, how about we see if you were on the right track with your Assassin's Creed thing, and see if we can get something to maybe lead us in that direction. Um, can you climb structures in this game?
Yes.
Okay, doesn't necessarily make it Assassin's Creed, but could ask, are you an assassin? That probably was the better question, huh?
Yeah. Trying to think of. You picked an interesting one. I'm sure once he says it, we're gonna be like, oh gosh.
Oh, that's how they all go.
I'm trying to think of something that like that. Secret Society. Do you have superpowers?
Yep.
I think I might. I'm thinking.
Superpowers.
I think like maybe could be proto. I mean, I'm not. This is not a guess, but prototype was multi-platform, open. Well, that's not. It's not an open world RPG, but it is open world. You play as a human with secret powers, but I don't know about the secret society. I guess, but
I wonder if it was. Wasn't there a Star Wars game that came out around then?
I can't remember.
I mean,
one.
Star Wars: The Force Unleashed. That was.
Okay, Chris, do you drive a car in this game?
Not at all.
Okay.
Superpowers. Life structures. Secret Society human.
Does Mirror's Edge, do you have superpowers in that? I thought you were just some parkour chick, but I didn't play it.
It was just straight up parkour.
Yeah.
Alright.
Secret Society.
You guys are on question 15, by the way.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's plenty still. Means we still got 6 questions here.
Could have been like a superhero game too.
Yeah, what superhero games were out there now?
Spider-Man. They made a couple of those.
He's not really part of a secret society, though, is he?
Eventually, but
I mean, not really though.
Didn't think this one would be that hard.
Well, we're probably totally just like going in every direction except to our objective, so you know. It's like your typical Metal Gear sortie, you know.
The truth.
Trying to think. Is it a third-person point of view?
No.
So it's first person.
Whoa.
I've had some good questions, but it's just
That was a really good question. I think you narrowed it down a lot.
yeah, that totally took us away from a lot of those superhero ones. I'm trying to
Yeah,
think.
what the hell first-person game do you have superpowers in?
I mean,
Yeah.
they made Singularity. I just don't know if you climb structures in that.
Can you in Bioshock? No, I don't think you can you?
No, you can't climb anything in that. Yeah. What the hell first-person game lets you climb shit? Oh, my brain is broken.
I'm trying to think, guys. I haven't played this game in a while. I remember climbing. Yes, there's climbing. All right, continue. I'm thinking. I'm like, but it's not.
I mean,
it's not a major part.
a lot of games have it where you can like if you hit A, you can climb ladders or things like that.
I don't think you would call that climbing structures, though.
Oh,
If he did, that's a real devious answer.
I'm gonna give you guys another one. 'Cause I remember there is, but it's not like imperative to anything.
Okay.
So I'm gonna drop that one. How about that, guys? You guys can not use that one and get another question.
Time structures one.
Yep.
See, until you brought the third person, I was thinking like Crackdown, but that killed that.
I remember that game.
Yeah.
That was a
I was
fun.
like, yeah, you got like superpowers.
But then cars, yeah, you can drive in that one.
All right, so you're
crap.
back at question
Oh.
15.
Do you shoot things in this game?
Are we talking with guns? Is that what you're going with?
It's not really what I said, but that is actually what I want to know. Do you shoot things with guns in this game?
No.
Okay, so it's a first person. Is it a first person game? What the hell else could it be? Could be.
Well, I mean, they could be using their hands or throwing things.
Could
Superpowers, so.
do you think it could be Portal?
What superpowers do you have?
I guess you get the portal gun, but oh wait, but you don't shoot anything. Never mind.
Hmm.
So it has to be like a game that's first person that is like.
Maybe. Hold on. Let's be sure it's first person. I'm wondering if there's some kind of like bizarro like camera convention we're overlooking.
Guys, I might have screwed up.
Uh-oh.
Well, okay. Well, what did you screw up?
There is a gun. You use it, but I never used it. So yes, there is a gun. You can shoot it.
So
Okay.
maybe it's a stealth game then.
What the heck kind of goose chase are we on right now?
Was Thief first person?
Thief was first person. Dishonored, maybe?
Dishonored might be,
Was that first person?
Yeah, that's first person.
Okay, yeah, I didn't play either of those.
Because Dishonored, you do have abilities. It's stealth based. I just don't remember if there's any. I don't think there's a gun in Dishonored, is there? Did you play it, Matt?
I didn't know.
Neither did I. I own it.
What kind of question could you ask to eliminate that game?
The one about taking over animals?
Oh yeah. Well, that's Thief. You can. I think.
That's
no,
Thief?
No, Dishonored has that. I just can't remember if Thief has that or not. I don't think Thief does.
In Dishonored, is your character dishonored?
That's not his
What?
name.
Well, because then you could ask the question: is the protagonist dishonored?
I mean, we could ask him if it's a stealth game, but that still opens up a lot of windows.
Are we going with your question, Jimmy? Whose turn is it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think.
I have no idea.
Well, I think the last one we got an answer to is the first person thing, which was my question. So I think.
It was that and the gun, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I think it's Matt's.
We should make sure this is a first-person game, I think, just to be sure. Because if it's like some kind of like, I don't know, could it be some kind of like top-down strategy bullshit? Although I would consider that third person, but
Yeah, because I think third person. Because the way I described it was you can see the character when you're third person, where you can see yourself.
Let's go, guys. Let's get a question going.
We're down to crunch time, Chris. Jeez.
You got 4 more.
Oh man.
man, really suck at this.
Alright, I'm going for it. Is it a first-person shooter or a first-person game?
Ooh, yes, it's a
Ooh.
first-person game.
Okay, so we are sure of that. I don't know what else it could have been, but at least now we don't got to think anything weird or obscure.
I'm kind of thinking that it's
It's a
gotta be-
first. It's a first-person game with a gun that you can shoot, but you probably wouldn't. You have superpowers. You climb structures. You're part of a secret society. You play as a human, and the publisher's still around.
I'm just trying to think. Thief didn't come out until just last year, so I can eliminate that right there.
How about Metal Gear
Dishonored-
Solid? Would it be one of those?
They're all third person.
Oh,
But Dishonored came out. Oh, I just can't remember when that one came out.
What about Half-Life 2?
Oh, I guess that is first-person.
You get that gravity gun thing, but that's like kind of important.
Yeah. I mean, unless it was Portal. But I mean, you use the gun in Portal all the time.
Like I know a question you guys could ask that could pretty much.
No.
I'm not
Yeah.
going to say it, but
Oh,
there's
okay. I was
one
going to
question
say,
that'll pretty
don't
much.
help us out. I think we can get there from here. We're close. It's just, it's eluding us.
Because I know in Dishonored you can possess animals. So I could ask him if. I just don't know if Chris played that game. He could have played it recently.
we got 3 questions right now, right?
Yeah. We need some kind of qualifier, I think, on Dishonored, or, I don't know, what else could it be? What about, no, you don't have superpowers in Hitman.
That's third person as well.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I would ask the animal question.
Okay.
I thought that was Thief, he said.
No,
Oh,
no, it's
Uh,
Dishonored where you can possess animals and use them to go into vents. Chris, can you possess animals?
Yes.
Do we need anything else to take a guess at this?
I think that's the only
Well,
game I know that you can do it.
Well, let me think of some other questions. Where
I think that was
game
pretty
could-
solid.
Does the character in the game wear a mask?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's.
Oh, here's one. Was
Yeah.
this game published by Bethesda Softworks?
Correct.
I think we
That's
got
20.
That's 20.
Is your game Dishonored?
It is.
it. All right.
Wow.
Dude, you guys have said that so many times. I'm like, oh my god. I got it. But they don't know. You guys could have asked if it was a stealth game. You guys already ruled out Thief because it was released last year.
Yeah, we kind of got to the point where we kind of felt like we knew it was a stealth game, so we felt pretty confident in that. But yeah, we could. If it wasn't a stealth game, we've really messed it up.
If you
The
didn't
third
have,
person
think-
thing just messed with me so hard. I was like, wait, it's first person?
if you didn't mess up the gun, but you don't use it, if you would have just said yes, there's a gun, probably would have been difficult. But once you said but you don't use it or you wouldn't use it, that kind of signaled to me that it was a stealth game for sure. Because what other game do you have a gun and you don't want to use it? I guess.
Yeah, at that point, I was sitting there thinking, Splinter Cell? No, that's not third person or superpowers.
Oh man.
Yeah, the gun part. I was like, nah, there's no guns. And then I remembered, oh nope, there's that pistol.
And you can kind of hop along structures, and you can teleport to other sides. And
Yeah, like that's. I was thinking, I'm like, you can climb. It's not really like a big thing.
Hey, Chris, just before we get out of here, I had to make sure you saw this
Oh,
today.
you got it up.
Yeah. I mean, this is just brilliant.
Oh, that's good. Oh, this is what I was telling you about, Drew.
Jeez.
Like, you've got to be kidding me. How is that possible?
Oh, that is Kevin Love, right?
Yeah.
Being a Timberwolves fan, we already know how bad he is, so there's
It's beautiful, man. I could watch it all day.
oh my gosh. Hey, they tried, you know? They tried.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, man.
that's too
Sorry,
funny.
I had to make sure we got that in before we wrap the show up.
That is too funny.
Okay, well, great pick for 20 questions, man, and we'll see what we do about next week's game.
All right.
Okay, so before I go into all the wrap up, anything else anyone wants to say?
I think I'm good.
Yeah, I think
Definitely good.
I'm good too.
Okay. All right. Well, if you want to contact the show, you can get the show on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, and other podcast services. Just search for Collective Gamescast. You can visit our website, collectivegc.com. We also host a podcast there if you want to get it. If you want to be on the show, email collectivegamescast@gmail.com. If you want to contact the show or follow us on Twitter, it's @thecollectivegc. You can stay up to date on show news by following us there. If you want to contact me on Twitter, I'm @themalgadar, MALGADAR. And if you want to play with me on PSN, it's _Malgadar. If you want to contact Chris, you get him on Twitter @ChrisBCGC. And you can email him chrisbcgc@gmail.com. Either of you guys want to give out any contact information?
Yeah. I mean, if you want, you can send me an email. It's actually, I should probably make a better email than my first and last name.
Okay, why don't you not share that then?
Here's my social security number is mixed in there too, and
Make sure you give him the 3-digit number on the back of the credit card too. It's very important.
yeah, definitely. No, I'll make one for next time. If anyone has any questions, I mean, I know a lot about reserve GameStop stuff, so if anyone has any questions, I can definitely help them out with a lot of that stuff.
What about your streaming? Have you gotten that going?
Oh yeah, we haven't gotten that started yet, but in the next month, I'm actually going to start my own streaming channel. We're in the process of a name, but it's looking like it's either going to be mid lane gamers or mid game streamers. So hopefully in the next next time or something, I'll have some more info and some more solid stuff. But I have a lot of games, and I'm sure it'd be real fun to play them and have some people watch. So.
Yeah, definitely keep me up to date when you get the name thing settled. I'll push it out through the show's Twitter feed.
Yeah.
All
All
right.
right. So with that wraps up episode 3 to Collective Gamescast, the podcast that gives you a voice. Chris, good hanging out again. Drew,
Yeah.
Matt, thanks for coming in,
Had a
adding
good
to the
one.
conversation, and we're out.